Alright, hello everyone. This is Whitebox. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick solo game of Spirit Island. Just mostly to test my camera setup, kind of in this new room we have set up here, and this new gaming table that we have. So I'm just going to do a quick solo game, win or lose, it's fine either way. I have the Spirit Island randomizer that I made, which is going to set up this game for me. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, and then I will set it up and get going. So first up, I can uncheck this box here, and it's going to go ahead and remove the previous game that we did. And I'm doing a true solo game, so I'm going to set my player count here to 1. I'll stick with intermediate, make this a nice quick game. It's been a while since I've done a solo cast, and this proof of concept stuff. I'm not going to play with a scenario, not going to play on the thematic board, so I'll go ahead and get started. And I get Thunderspeaker against Russia 3. Okay. Going to be a challenge, but I think I can do that. So let's go ahead and get this set up. Okay, so Thunderspeaker against Russia 3. And that's also going to be on board F. So, I can go ahead and get that all pulled out. So we'll be playing against the Kingdom of Russia. Not get over there. Playing as Thunderspeaker, who was in our last game. Thunderspeaker tends to do pretty well. Let's see, got her in here somewhere. There we go. So this will be the matchup. Thunderspeaker against the Tsardom of Russia. On board F. I'll go ahead and get this set up real quick. I'll move those up here just so they're still on. And put my map in play. Don't know that I've done a true solo game on board F before, so let's see how that goes. Okay. It's also been a while since I've played Thunderspeaker. Thunderspeaker happens to be one of the few spirits that I have done a true solo game again as. Way back in the day. That was against Sweden 3, I believe. And for a while, it was one of my highest scoring games, though it has since been surpassed. Okay, so Russia 3, fear cards, 443. Let's get this set up. And some people complain about Spirit Island being a game that takes a while to set up. I don't really think that's true. I mean, it's not very quick, but there are games that take a lot longer. Gloomhaven, for example. And we have some of these cups here that do make it a lot easier to do. So get those. So 443. In addition to that, let's see, they don't have any unique setup, I don't think, as far as the invader cards go. Not at stage, not on level 3. Okay, so I can do a normal setup here for my invader deck. One. Hopefully the music isn't too loud, I'll adjust that in post if I have to. Maybe a little bit more silent here. Got one level 3. I don't know that they have any additional setup. Let's see. So Russia 3 setup. Level 1. Hunters seek, shell, and hide. During setup on each board, add 1 beast and 1 explorer. So the highest number, let me do my initial beast there. And then I also add 1 beast and 1 explorer to the highest numbered land without towns and cities, which is also this one. So there will be 2 beasts there from the start, as well as an explorer. I'll get my starting disease. During play, explorers do +1 damage. When Ravage adds white to a land, including Cascades, destroy 1 beast in that land. And that ties into their additional loss condition. Hunters swarm the island, put beasts destroyed by adversary rolls on this panel. If there are ever more beasts on this panel than on the island, the invaders win. So I don't want Russia to have more beasts there than are on the island. Level 2, a sense for impending disaster. The first time each action would destroy explorers. If possible, one of those explorers is instead pushed. 1 fear when you do so. It's a good way to generate fear, but means that it is difficult to kill Russia's explorers. And then level 3, competition among hunters. Ravage cards also match lands with 3 or more explorers. If the land already matched the Ravage card, it still ravages just once. So you don't want explorers to group up a lot. It's one of the challenges with Russia. And it's been a while since I've played against them, so we'll see how this goes. Now I am playing Thunderspeaker though. Thunderspeaker is a very strong spirit. Go ahead and move stuff around here, just so that's more accessible. Put that up there. I'll keep Russia over on this side. I can put them up. Well, it'll be easier for me to see if I keep them up around here. Move my Thunderspeaker board right about there. And then I will fill this all in. It's been a while since I played Thunderspeaker 2, so put 2 presents on your starting board. 1 in each of the 2 lands with the most Dahan. So here and here. And fill this board as follows. I'm going to put cards that are in play over here. Discards going to be a little bit down, just to make it look better on camera. Okay. And then grab my Thunderspeaker cards. Major should already be shuffled. Go ahead and put those there. And then I start. So I can go ahead and, oh, sorry, I need to set up a light as well before I forget that. Let's do that there. And I need a blight card and an initial explorer. Forgetting all this stuff. That's what I get for trying to do a camera mode as well. Okay. So blight, I'm playing with the errated rule. There's 1 + 2 per player instead of just 2 per player. So 3 blight on the card. And then the initial explorer here is going to be in sands. So explorer in each sand. Okay. So the nice thing here, at least for me planning out this turn, is I can probably ignore this sands. There's no Dahan there, there's no beast there, there's not already a blight there. So if they build and then ravage, it really doesn't matter until they get sands again later in the game. But at least for now, I can probably ignore that land. I want to clear this out. If I can do it in the fast phase so they don't build, that'll be fantastic. But otherwise, I'll deal with it next turn. Because on Thunderspeaker, I always have a hammer that I can drop in that land. So that is a good thing. So first up is going to be growth. I can add a presence and gain 4 energy, or add 2 presences to lands with Dahan. And then I can play my cards. And I don't know, I haven't really considered, I just picked this, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do just yet. So I could set up a defense here with Words of Warning, this card. Use that next turn. They're going to have 1 town there, and their explorer is going to do 2 damage, so it'll be doing 4 damage in that land. So if I get defend 3 with Words of Warning, that'll be enough to defend that land and fight back. And it's a lot cheaper than playing Manifestation of Power and Glory. So I have Words of Warning in my back pocket to do that land in next turn when they're about to Ravage. So I'll probably keep that card. So I could just generate some fear right away to try to get that. I could also use Sudden Ambush, and that might actually be better, because that's going to stop that build. And stopping builds is really efficient. It's a good way to actually kind of keep them from doing things. So I could gather, destroy. I think that might be the play. And right now I'm only going to be gaining 1 energy, so if I do that, I'm either going to need to go up there, or add a presence and gain 4 energy. I'm not really sure which one's better just yet. If I want to do 2 card plays, I do have Voice of Thunder, which can generate some fear, which is probably okay. And it'll also let me push guys around, which is not bad. And that might be okay. I won't be able to do Manifestation of Power and Glory here if I do that, but again, I'm just going to let that land go. It really doesn't matter. So I could go in and try to destroy that city. I'm also eventually going to need to do something about this, because if they pull Wetland, that's going to be really bad for me. So I don't want to let them build up there. So, let's see. So I want to start moving over to that direction. And probably the best way to do that is to add a presence and gain energy. And I'll probably just generate some fear this turn. Now if I do this, I'm not going to be gaining any of my innates. Well, I'll be able to gather with Gather the Warriors, so I'll be able to start moving in that direction. So yeah, I'll probably do that. So I'm going to add a presence at a range 1. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to gain 4 energy. My third growth option. So that's 4 energy. I have 2 card plays now. I'm going to play Sudden Ambush and Voice of Thunder. And Voice of Thunder is in the slow phase, so I can choose to do that later, which is not bad. But I'll probably end up using it just for the fear, which is pretty good. Alright, so I pay for these. I have to pay 2 energy here. Additionally, I get 1 energy per turn from that, so now I have 3 energy total. And that's my growth phase. Now it goes to the fast phase. In the fast phase, I'm going to go ahead and gather. I think I'll do it from here. And I will follow along, thanks to my Ally of the Dahan option. My presence may move with Dahan. Whenever Dahan moves from one of my lands to another land, I may move 1 presence along with it. So I'm going to go ahead and move that guy there. Okay. And then each one destroys 1 of these. Now, because of Russia's thing, first time an action would destroy an explorer. If possible, one of those explorers is instead pushed when you do so. And that's okay. I want to get it out of that sand so it's not going to build. And I'm going to be moving into that jungle next turn, so I'm going to push it here. And that gives me a fear, which is good. And that's my only fast action. My others are slow. So next it's going to go to an event. We pull 1 just for the sake of it. But not going to do anything on turn 1. No fear card, no Blighted Island card, so that goes to the invader phase. On the invader phase, they're going to go ahead and build in sands. So they'll build a city here, nothing here because it is empty. Okay. And next up, they're going to explore. So move that aside. And then they explore wetlands. So that's what I was worried about. The wetlands are going to be really dangerous here. Because of all those beasts. So it's not great. I'm going to need to get up there somehow and try to deal with that. Okay. So that's their turn. Okay. So now it goes to slow powers. I do have a couple here. I have Voice of Thunder, which is going to get me close to a fear card. And then I have Gather the Warriors, which I hit a couple levels here. So I'll be able to move into that wetland, which I think I need to do just to kind of set things up. So let's see. I don't want to reclaim Sudden Ambush just yet. So with Gather the Warriors, I can gather up to 1 per jalapeno, or chili pepper, which I have 2 of, and then push per sun. And I only have 1 sun, so I can only push 1. So what I can do, I'm going to go ahead and it's wetlands. Wetlands is rough. So instead of getting the fear, I think I'll start moving towards that jungle so I can get it cleared out. It's not the best, but that's okay. So I'm going to use Voice of Thunder, push for Dahan in here, and I will follow my presence along with that. Then with Gather the Warriors, I'm going to go ahead and target this land here. I don't need that one there, so I'm going to gather, which I will follow along with. And then I'm going to go ahead and push 1 into that land. Alright. And that'll set me up for next turn, hopefully, where I can deal with that and keep those beasts safe. Because that's the important thing here. So then, we rest, time passes. So I'm going to go ahead and use these 2 energy. These 2 cards get discarded. And I don't want to reclaim yet, just because it's not very efficient. So, I'm either going to add 2 presence, or add a presence and gain 4 energy. I already have a bunch of energy, so I'll probably end up adding the 2 presence. And I don't think I need the extra card plays. I'll probably stick with 2 for now, and go up top track. I think that's the play. We'll see. So I'm going to nuke this land this turn, take out that city. Nice to do it early on. I like doing that with Thunderspeaker. Even though jungle hasn't explored, it's possible that we'll pull jungle again, and then I'll get even more stuff out of it. So pretty good. As far as growth, I do want to go in here at the very least, so I can try to deal with that. Really, I could even do Manifestation of Power and Glory there. I'll do 4 damage, which is not bad. It's enough to kill the town that they're going to build. I can decide that in the slow phase, though. I don't have to decide that right now. But I will put my second presence here, just because. Now, from my energy track, I gain 2 energy. And I'm going to play my last 2 cards here before I have to reclaim. So I've got Manifestation of Power and Glory, which is my big nuke. And I've got Words of Warning. And Words of Warning isn't really going to come into effect. I'm just playing it for the elements. I'm not going to do anything about this land. And they don't have a land with 3 explorers, so they're not going to really do anything with that. But I do have to target a land. It is fast. So just in case something weird happens, I'll go ahead and use Words of Warning here, defending at 3, and if it ravages for some reason, then during Ravage, Dahan and that land will fight back simultaneously with invaders. And actually that would be good if I could add another Explorer here before the Ravage and get them to Ravage. It might be okay. Well, actually, no, they'll do a lot more damage than that, so I don't want that to happen. That's alright. Okay, so that's that. Those are my card plays. I'll go ahead and pay for those. And then I'll play an event. So my event here is Pull Together in Adversity. So we're still in Terra level 1, so for the rest of this turn, ignore Strife on each invader. Doesn't matter, so that's good. Then Explorer's Blunder. On each board, destroy 2 Explorers among lands with beasts. That's pretty good. Now, each action that would destroy Explorers instead destroys 1 fewer. So one of these Explorers does die, just because of that, which is really good against Russia. The other one gets pushed, and, you know, like I said, don't care about that Sands. It's going to Ravage anyway, so I'll go ahead and push them in there. And because of that push, I get 1 fear. Very good event for me so far. Next is Careful Defense. When invaders ravage, if the land has Dahan, defend 2. That doesn't matter, so that's fine. Don't have a fear card just yet. I'll get one at the end of this turn. So it goes into the Ravage phase. The invaders do Ravage in Sands and add a blight here, which is okay. And that's it. Next, they're going to build in Wetlands. This land is now empty, so they're not going to build here. They are going to build here, which I will try to deal with in the slow phase. I think I will be able to. So that is fine. Okay. And then next up is going to be the Explorer. They're exploring in mountains. That's probably okay. This mountain here with the light could be a problem, but I'll worry about that later. Okay. Now it comes to slow powers. I was thinking about using Manifestation of Power and Glory there. There's nothing there now. So instead I'm just going to nuke this city, because that's going to get me a fear card. I'm going to use Manifestation of Power and Glory here. Each Dahan there deals damage equal to the number of my presence in target land. That is 6 total, so they're doing 6 damage. So this city dies, which gets me 2 fear, plus 1 just for the card itself. So I have a fear card. And then this guy will die too, thanks to Russia's ability. He gets pushed instead, and you know, I'll push him back into the Sands. That should be fine. And I get 1 fear for that push. Next up I have my Nates. I have both Gather the Warriors and Lead the Furious Assault, which is going to be good. It's going to let me destroy the town here. Although against Russia, destroying towns is not as useful. The big thing is we want to destroy their explorers. Still going to be good. I think I'll be able to defend that a little bit easier if I do. So, what I'm going to do is target this land with Gather the Warriors. I have 3 heirs, so I can gather all 3. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to gather 2. Leave 1 back in that jungle. And then I'll gather 1 of my presence here. Don't think I need to do both. Okay. And then I could push as well from this land. So I could push up to 1. Let's see, I have 2 suns, so I could push a couple actually. So let's see, maybe I can do this a little bit differently. Let's spread these around. Yeah, so let's retcon that actually. So this is my setup currently. So I'm actually going to gather, because I have 2 sun. I kind of want to get up in, I don't really need to get up into that sand. But I'd like to get another guy here, just in case. So instead, I'm going to target this land and do a push. Push this guy here. Oh, you know what? I do need to have 2 there. Okay, so I am still going to gather this, target this one. I'm going to gather all 3. Because I have 3 air. I'll move both my presence along. And then I will push one of these guys over yonder. So that was Gather the Warriors. Next up is going to be Lead the Furious Assault. I have 2 sun and 1 fire, so I can destroy 1 town for every 2 Dahan in target land. I'll go ahead and do this one and destroy this town. That gets me a fear, so I'm 1 away from another fear card. Okay. And that's it for me, so that will go back to growth. This time I am reclaiming. I have no cards, so kind of have to. First up, I'm going to gain a miner. And I'll probably gain 2 miners, to be honest. But let's see what this first one is. So I've got this Shore Seethes with Hatred, which is 1 fear, add 1 Badlands and 1 wild. That's okay. Set them on an ever-twisting trail. Gather or push one explorer and isolate target land. That's actually quite good. Growth through sacrifice, a little overpowered from what I've heard. But it's destroy one of your presence. Target spirit chooses either to remove 1 blight from one of their lands or add 1 blight to one of their lands. And if you have 2 sun, you may do both in the same land, which I should be able to get. And then call to tend, remove 1 blight, or push up to 3 Dahan. So some interesting choices here. Let's see. Yeah, some good options. Birth through Sacrifice is probably the play, just because it is such a good card. But I don't know that I want to play with it, just because I like doing variety, and this isn't like a super high difficulty game. Set them on an ever-twisting trail is very good, because if a land is isolated, then Russian explorers can't flee, so I get to kill them, which otherwise can be difficult. So that might be the way to go. And the other is Call to Tend, which is remove 1 blight. I have 2 blight, so that's okay. Or push up to 3 Dahan. So that one will be good. I think I'll be able to deal with this mountain okay, so I don't know that I need to do that. Let me move this back. I need to worry about removing blight. So I think I'm going to go with set them on an ever-twisting trail. And I'll discard up there. And I'll see if that'll let me destroy some of these difficult-to-kill Russian explorers. And then I get a second growth option here. I've gone 2 in top track. I might want to go into bottom track next and just go for card plays. I think that might be more fun. So I'm going to get another miner. And I should be able to pay for all these cards just with my natural energy gain now. We'll see. So this time I've got Teeming Rivers, got good elements. If the target land has no blight, add 1 beast. If target land has exactly 1 blight, remove it. Pretty good. That is not bad at all. Reach and Grasp, target spirit gets +2 range with all their powers, probably not useful. It does have sun and air though, which is okay. Sunset's Fire flows across the land. 1 fear, 1 damage, you may pay 1 energy to deal 1 damage in an additional land. A little expensive for that, I think. So I don't know that that's the play. And then Carapace Land, if targeting a land with Beast, this power has +1 range, defend 3. If you have 2 mountain, defend +3. Now I have no mountains, so that's probably going to be difficult to achieve. And its 3 defense is not bad, but it's probably not going to swing a game for me. Okay, Google. Volume down 1. Just a little loud. Google doesn't know increments of 1. Okay, Google. Set volume 3. There we go. That should be alright. So of these, I kind of like Teeming Rivers. If the land has no blight, I can add a beast. Adding beast is going to be good. Keep me from hitting the loss condition. Or if the target land has exactly 1 blight, I can remove it. And it targets mountains or wetlands, so that would let me remove the blight here, if I so choose. And it's got decent elements. It's got sun, which is nice. It's got animal. It's a little flexible. I think I'll go with that one. Teeming Rivers. Okay. And especially since I probably won't deal with this, I will try to let that blight. I'll be able to remove that blight later, so that's okay. So that's my growth. I only have 2 card plays. I have 6 cards in hand, which is excessive. This Explorer here, thanks to Rush's ability, is going to do 2 damage, so I do need to do something about that. I could defend it with Words of Warning. It's probably okay. I could do sudden ambush, probably not worth it for 2 energy. Or I could set them on an ever-twisting trail, which might be okay. Let's see. Let me gain my 2 energy here. Because if I set them on an ever-twisting trail and then do a sudden ambush, I'll be able to kill both of the explorers there, which is pretty good. It stops a build, stops a ravage. I think that's probably the play. I won't have good needs, but I think that's alright. Okay. So this will cost all my energy, but I think that's fine. Alright, and now my powers are both fast, so I'm going to go into the fast phase. I'm going to use set them on an ever-twisting trail targeting this land here to gather this explorer, and also isolate this land. And I don't have the isolate tokens punched out for yellow for some reason, but I'll do that at some point. So this land is now isolated, which means it is not adjacent to any other land. And because of that, I'm going to play a sudden ambush here. You know what, I'll go ahead and gather one, and gather one of those. I don't need to leave that there. And then each Dahan destroys 1 explorer. Now, because this land is isolated, those Russian explorers cannot retreat, and they both die. I don't get any fear out of it, which would have gotten me a fear card, so that might have been better. But I think just getting rid of those pesky explorers is pretty good. Alright. So that's my fast phase. Then I go to an event. My event here, I still have a healthy land, so it's the struggles of growth. A painful crux point. Each spirit chooses to trade reach for deeper nature, destroy 2 of your presence and gain a power card, or leave behind that which restrains you. Forget a power card, gain 2 energy, move up to 2 of your presence up to 4 range. You know, that's not terrible. And I can forget a card that's already in play, so since I played 2 fast cards, forgetting one of those is probably okay, and I don't need all of those air. So I could forget this, set them on an ever-twisting trail that I just played. It's probably not bad. And gaining 2 energy is nice. Moving up to 2 of my presence up to 4 range. Yeah, I don't need to do that as much, but I might be able to get up there and save that Dahan. It's going to be difficult though, so... Let's see, he's going to build. I do still have Words of Warning, I think. Yeah, so I think I'll do that. I'll get up there. So I'm going to move my presence up here. I'm going to forget, set them on an ever-twisting trail, which I just used, and gain 2 energy, which is going to be very nice. Now, irregular outbreaks. Ignore plague during builds this invader phase. 1 fear per board with plague. So that gets me another fear card, because my board still does have that disease. So that's pretty good. Next up is Careful Defense. When invaders ravage, if the land has Dahan, defend 2. So that should be fine. And thankfully, there are only 2 explorers here, so they're not matching the ravage card. I'll have to deal with that sands eventually, especially if they explore sands. It's going to be really bad. So I'll try to deal with that. Okay. So that's that. Next up is going to be 2 fear cards. So first fear card here is Explorers Are Reluctant. Still Terra level 1. During the next normal explore, skip the lowest numbered land, matching the invader card on each board. Not bad. Keep that there, just so I remember. And then Dahan Reclaim Fishing Grounds. Each player chooses a different coastal land with Dahan. In each, 1 damage per Dahan. Unfortunately, I already cleared this out, so it doesn't do anything. And now we go to the invader phase. So ravage in wetlands, nothing. Build in mountains. They are going to build up here. And then explore. Ah, it's sands. That's not good. Very much not good. So they do skip this one, but they will explore there. And the problem is that now that that has 3 explorers, that is matching a ravage card. So I'm going to have to do something to clear that out if I can. That's going to be hard. Because that is going to cascade. So, okay, well, I'll have to deal with that next turn. Okay, cool. So that was that. I also get the escalation, which is Stalk the Predator. On each board, add 2 explorers among lands with beasts. I only have 1 lands with beast. So those will both go here, which is not terrible. Okay, and that's that turn. Next up is slow powers. Let's see, I have an animal and I have 2 airs, so I can push some stuff around. There's a lot of damage going in on that land, so that's going to be problematic. Might have to reclaim Sudden Ambush and use it again just to get those explorers out, which is not great. But it will let me clear those guys out. Okay. Let's see, I have no fear card. Okay. Let's see what I can do with this. So I do want to get all my guys into that sand, so I'm going to try to deal with that now. So I'm going to target this land here, and I can gather up to 2 per air that I have. I have 2 air, so I'll go ahead and gather 2 Dahan into yonder, and I'll pull my presence along as well. Might be risky, but that's alright. And then I can push out of there, but I'm not going to, so that's that turn. Okay. So now I have a tough decision to make. Do I want to reclaim and get Sudden Ambush, but slow down my growth a lot? Or do I want to try a different way to deal with that land? Sudden Ambush is pretty good. It's going to let me kill 2 and generate a fear, and it's going to stop the Ravage in that jungle. Unfortunately, I won't have the energy for Manifestation of Power and Glory if I do that. So this could be pretty rough. So I think I need to stop the Ravage. I think that's the most important thing, and then I'll deal with everything else after. So I am going to reclaim. It's not ideal, but I think I have to do it. And then I will gain 2 power cards. I think I'll gain another miner. If it was anything other than sands for that stage 2 escalation, this would have been a lot easier. That being sands made this very tricky. So, alright. So with this one, I've got Gnawing Root Biters, push up to 2 towns. That's not useful. Sucking Ooze, 2 fear if invaders are present, isolate target land. Very good. That isolate is going to be nice. Drift down into Slumber, defend 1. If target land is sand or jungle, defend 4. That could be what saves me here. And I've got Pull beneath the Hungry Earth. If target land has your presence, 1 fear and 1 damage. If target land is sand or wetlands, then 1 damage. So currently they're doing a ton of damage in that sands though, which is problematic because each of these explorers does 2. So altogether they're doing 11 damage in that land. So I'm going to have to reduce that. The defend 4 is not going to be enough. But the defend 4 might be enough if I can get rid of the explorers for next turn. So I'm going to take Drift Down into Slumber. As much as I would like Sucking Ooze for that Isolate and Fear, I think I need the Drift Down into Slumber. Both free, so that's okay. And after that, I'm not really going to have the energy for a major, unless it's something 4 cost or less that lets me avoid using Sudden Ambush this turn. So I'm going to fish for a major. I've got enough other cards that are minors that I should be okay on that. and I'll see if I can get a decent major. First up is Walls of Rock and Thorn. 2 damage, defend 8, only mountains or jungles. It's okay. It's not going to do enough for me, I don't think. So that's fine. It is only 4 costs, but yeah. Flow Like Water, Reach Like Air is a great card, but not for me this game, so I'm not going to take that. Winds of Rust and Atrophy, pretty good. Elements are okay. 1 Fear and defend 6, replace 1 city with a town, or 1 town with 1 explorer, which is not bad. I'll think about that one. And then Talons of Lightning, target mountain or wetlands, too much energy, so I cannot afford that right now. So my play is either Walls of Rock and Thorn or Winds of Rust and Atrophy. But I don't think I can really afford the Walls of Rock and Thorn, and I'm not going to need the mountain defense soon. Winds of Rust and Atrophy is pretty good, so I think I'll take that and forget Teeming Rivers. Unfortunately, I'm not really going to get use out of that, I don't think. So let me take Winds of Rust and Atrophy. Might come in handy next turn. Okay, so tricky turn. I've got to stop the Ravage here, otherwise I'm very fucked. So I will go ahead and gain my 2 energy just for presence phase. I need to play Sudden Ambush to take out the explorers in that desert, just to stop the Ravage, so that'll be good. And then I need to stop the Ravage in that mountain, so I will also play Words of Warning. I'm not going to have enough sun for anything, but that's okay. Okay. So, that's my growth and presence. Next I go to Fast Powers. I'm going to gather that there. And now each Dahan destroys 1 explorer. 2 of these will die. And 1 will get pushed somewhere else. Let's see, I don't want him in the mountains, so I've got to push him back to the jungle here. Should be okay. And because of that push, I get 1 fear. Then Words of Warning, defend 3. I'm going to do it in this mountain. And during Ravage, Dahan and target land deal damage simultaneously with invaders. So that'll be that. Okay, now I get an event. Remnants of a Spirit's Heart. A group of Dahan find a stony ridge with lingering blessings from an ancient mountain spirit. You may leave its strength with a Dahan. Dahan have plus 10 health this turn. In lands with Dahan, invaders have plus 1 health this turn. Or with Patient Focus, craft a Great Warding. Cost is 4 energy per player, aided by Mountain or Earth. Defend from spirits is 4 lower per land this turn. During 1 future spirit phase, players may jointly decide to grant defend 4 to our lands that turn. I cannot afford that. Well, actually I could. If I discard Drift Down into Slumber, I would have to forget Drift Down into Slumber. But I don't want to reduce the defend this turn, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to leave its strength with Dahan. I'm okay with the invaders having extra health this turn, that's fine. So I'm leaving its strength with the Dahan. Then hunting parties for each land with beasts and cities, which is none, so nothing happens. And then 1,000 small struggles. On each board with 4 or more towns and cities, and 4 or fewer Dahan, add 1 blight to a land without Dahan. So that doesn't matter. Now, I hadn't thought about it, but this is going to be a problem next turn, because with the escalation, they're going to add a bunch of guys there. So I'm going to have to try to deal with that. More problems to worry about. But I can deal with that at least here. Okay. Okay. Alright, so that's that. Next up is going to be the Ravage. They're ravaging here and here. This one's defended 3. They do 4 damage, so I don't, nothing happens. And I can do 2 damage back. The invaders have +1 health this turn, so I can't kill the town, but I can kill this guy and push him into there. And that gets me a fear. And then next up is going to be Dolden Sands. So we're going to get another town in this Sands. And a town in the Coastal Sands, which I don't really have to worry about yet. And then Explore in Wetlands. That is the worst that I could have gotten there, probably. So Explore in Wetlands with Escalation, and the Escalation adds 2 more Explorers in a year. So that's a problem. That's something that's going to be very tricky for me to deal with. So I will try to figure that out. Okay. Alright, that's that turn. Slow powers, I can gather the warriors. That's the only one I have. I can gather up to 3 Dahan somewhere. Don't really need them in that mountain anymore. I might just stack up in the desert and try to defend it. Clear that out. Let's see, it's gonna do how much damage? Yeah, that should be fine. That'll clear that out. I actually have enough to clear that out anyway, so I don't have to put that in there. So I can use Winds of Rush and Atrophy there. But I can use Drift Down and Slumber and clear out that. The other problem is that I do want to do something about that wetland, I think. That's going to be a big problem. Okay. Let's see, that one's going to die just from defense. Manifestation of Power and Glory is not going to come into effect with that one. What I could try to do is just win a Terra level 2 victory very quickly. If I can clear out everything here, the problem is they're going to build a town there. But what if I can do it in the fast phase? So this will all die in the fast phase, as will that if I get defense there, so it'll just be this that I have to worry about. It's possible, I could go for it. If I can get up to 4 air, I could do that in the fast phase. Do I have enough? Probably do if I have the energy for that. I wouldn't have 3 card plays though. Shoot. Let's see, I'm gonna get 2. Yeah, I won't have the energy to do that for 3 card plays. So yeah, I won't be able to get to a 4th of these guys this turn, unfortunately. If I could, that would be really strong. Actually, I might be able to. If I do that, though, I won't get Winds of Rust and Atrophy, which I do need in order to defend that desert. Alright, I can play this instead of Manifestation. But then I won't have the sun for it, so yeah, that's the only problem. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to clear that last town out, unfortunately, because that would potentially win me the game. So it does depend. If I get a good fear card, I might be able to So I want to leave that land. Yeah, let's go for it. I'm gonna push this guy in here and follow along with my presence. That's with Gather the Warriors. Discard these 2 cards, and we are back to growth. So this is gonna Ravage, that's a problem. I can't really do anything about that. And it's gonna build, so we'll Ravage again next turn as well. Not great, but I can't really do anything to stop it. So with my growth this turn, I want to get to 3 card plays, I think. It doesn't really help me because I don't have the extra sun. So I don't really need to get to 3 card plays yet. I can go for the fire and sun instead. Well, it's unfortunate. Let's see. Drift Down in the Slumber is going to help me there. That's fine. Need to use Winds of Rust and Atrophy on the other desert. That's okay. That'll be good. So I think the 3 card plays is going to help me more. So I am gonna do a double growth here. So that'll get me enough fear for a fear card. Yeah, let's do that. So Dahan there. Okay. So now I have 3 card plays. I get 2 energy from growth. That's okay. Guess I can reclaim. Yep. Okay. Yeah, let's try this. Okay. So I'm going to play Winds of Rust and Atrophy, Drift Down into Slumber, and Voice of Thunder. Okay. And let's go. Fast powers. So fast powers here, I do have 4 air, so I can make that power fast. Unfortunately, I don't really have the have anything good that I can do with that aside from pushing stuff around, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do instead, use Winds of Rust and Atrophy here. Let's defend 6. Going to change that city into a town. And I get 1 fear for that. I'm going to use Voice of Thunder here as well, just for the 2 fear, so I can get a fear card. And then I'm going to use Defend 3 with Drift Down into Slumber right here. So that's defended 4 with Drift Down into Slumber. Okay. Oh, I don't get Voice of Thunder just yet. It's a slow card. Okay. That's alright. So I'll get that in the slow phase. So I'll probably have 2 fear cards in the next turn for Terror level 2. I just won't have any this turn. Okay. So I wouldn't have been able to win quite yet anyway. So that's fast. I can also do this, but I'm going to wait until the slow phase for that. And I don't have the sun for this one. So that's okay. Alright. Event. Civic Engagement. On each board, remove 1 strife. If you can't, invaders do +1 damage per land when ravaging in lands with towns and cities. That's not great. So that's gonna fuck up my... Oh no, I have Defend 4 there, so it's good. We're fine. Okay. Casualties of Fang and Sting. On each board, destroy 1 explorer or town and land with a beast. That's good. So I get to push this guy. I don't want to do him into the desert, so I'll push him there. And I get a fear for that, which does get me a fear card. So that'll be very nice. Keep far from lands of plague. On each board, push 3 Dahan from lands with plague to lands without plague. Doesn't matter. Then I get that fear card that I just generated. Belief takes root. Defend 2 in all lands with presence. Okay, cool. Alright, so we go to Ravage. This is defended 6 now, so Dahan will fight, do enough damage to kill this, which gets me a fear. Here, defended now 9, Dahan will fight back and kill all of these towns, which gets me 3 more fear, and another fear card. And that brings me to Terror level 2. So if I could have destroyed this town, I would have run right now in the fast phase. Unfortunately, I was just 1 sun short. Okay. Now I go and also have a Ravage here, because that is a land with 3 or more Explorers, which means they kill a beast and have 1 there, so I can't afford to lose another beast. And Exploring Coastal. No escalation, so that's good. But the Coastal is not great either. So. Okay. Okay. So now I go to Slow Powers, of which I have a couple. So with this now I have a choice. I don't need the fear-generated fear card just yet. The fear is probably still pretty good, or I can push some Dahan around. And I'm going to need to do something about that, which I could get sudden ambush back for it. Problem is that the Ravage... Oh, and they built in both of those wetlands. I forgot to put those on. So those are both buildings. So I am going to use Voice of Thunder to push those 3 Dahan here. And I will follow along with my presence and try to do something about this land next turn. We'll see what that something is. Okay. I also have Gathered the Warriors, which I'm not going to do anything with. I think I'll leave well enough alone for that. Okay. So this is going to be a tough turn. So I can do Growth, and then I get the Reclaim 1, which is not bad. Reclaiming 1 might not be enough, though, for me to deal with both this land and that land. So I might have to reclaim all. It slows down my growth again, but I do get more power cards, which is okay. I have to reclaim. I'm not going to have a lot of energy this turn, but we'll see what happens. Let me get another miner. I've got Strong and Constant Currents, fast, 0 range coastal, push 1 explorer or town to an adjacent coastal land, or move up to 2 Dahan between target landing on either coastal land. Not bad. Decent, actually. And that 1, yeah, 1 is not enough. That's okay. I've got Hazard spread across the land. Choose a type of token that exists in adjacent lands. Add 1 of that token to target land. So that could let me add another beast. Pretty good. Fleshrot Fever. 1 fear and add 1 disease. It's okay. And Lure of the Unknown. Gather 1 explorer or town. Okay. So I got a couple decent choices here. I think I'm going going to take Strong and Constant Currents, which should let me defend this land. And I'll take another Minor, because I don't have a lot of energy. I'm very starved on that. Okay. So I have Devouring Ants, good elements. Slow power, 1 fear, 1 damage, destroy 1 Dahan, plus 1 damage if it's a jungle or sands. Not bad. Rights of the Land's Rejection. Invaders do not build and target land this turn. 1 fear per town or city, or 1 fear per Dahan, whichever is less. Or push. It's okay. Tormenting Rotflies as add 1 disease, or if target land has invaders, I get fear. And Light Calls to Like. If target land has an explorer, gather up to 1 explorer. Do likewise for towns, Dahan, and other stuff. Not a lot of great options, so I think I'll take Devouring Ants. I get 2 energy, which is not a lot. And I get to try to defend this with 2 energy. So let's see what happens. I do have a couple free cards, which is not bad, so definitely be using those. I have 3 card plays. So that'll let me clear that out, which is okay. And I don't have won't be able to lead the Furious Assault though. I could just let this one go, move my guys out of it. I'll lose 1, but that's okay. Save the Dahan, which is good. Hi. Defend 3 is not going to be enough there, and I don't have the energy to do much more. Have a 1 cost with fire, so well, I can rely on an event or fear card to try to save that land for me, which is not ideal, but I'm gonna do it. Mickey, what are you doing? And that's there, so it can proc that. I do still get this in the slow phase, which is okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll give this a shot, see what happens. Okay. So first up is going to Fast Powers. I have Sudden Ambush, which I'm going to use here to destroy 3 of these guys. 1 of which gets pushed there, and the other 2 get destroyed. Strong and Constant Currents I'm going to use here. Gather those 2 there, and I can pull 2 of those there. Just to defend my cat. Go away. Hey, listen. Doesn't happen often. Okay. Yeah, that's that for Fast Powers. So let's see what happens. And actually, instead of there, I'm just gonna stack up in here, I think. See what happens with that. Okay. Alright. That's Fast Powers event. Putting down roots. On an inland land on each board, replace 1 explorer with 1 town. You know, honestly, against Russia, that's okay. I don't know what the fear card's going to be, but it's probably not going to destroy a town. I'll throw it in here. Alright, invaders do not ravage in lands with disease or strife. And then drive off the interlopers. Each player may push one explorer or town from a land with Dahan. That's pretty good. So that still doesn't stop that ravage. More likely that I'm going to get a fear card that will deal with the explorer here. So I'm going to push this town into the desert. I should have done the one defense there, but, you know, live and learn. Okay. Nerves Fray. Each player adds one strife in lands not matching a ravage card. Nope, not going to help me. So I'll go ahead and throw it in yonder. And I think that may be the end for me. Oh, it's 2. Elementary level 2. Okay. Ravage in wetlands. They do ravage. Well, they ravage here. They also ravage here, which cascades. And they do claim the last beast because of that. So I lose because of Russia's condition. So, not the best game. It's been a while since I played Russia, and playing them is very different. I definitely was not very efficient this game. I reclaimed too often because I probably was overestimating how good Sudden Ambush is. I think it's a good card, but I was probably overstating how good it actually is. So that's a loss. Unfortunate, but it happens. And let me go ahead and score this up. This will zoom in so I can see. Alright, so I'm playing this today. 10, what's today? 16th? 16th. One player. One player games are very swingy. Really drawing that Wetlands as the first stage 2 card was the worst thing I could have drawn, and that really lost me the game. But part of that was because I'd put too many eggs in one basket. Was not playing as efficiently as I should have been. So that's a loss against level 3 Russia. It does happen, so that's okay. Standard. Alright, so cards that are in here for not great. Dahan left on the board. I saved them all. I also didn't get any events that added Dahan to the board, which is unfortunate when you're playing as Thunderspeaker. You do want those to on. That region had enemies. I did get to Avoided Island. It was the very last thing, though, so. So that was a true solo game as Thunderspeaker. I'll go ahead and put this up online after I kind of get everything set up for it. It was a good game, even though I lost. Like I said, it's been a while since I played against Russia, and been a while since I played as Thunderspeaker. So, different than I'm used to. I think a big thing is that I'm used to like hammering cities, and against Russia, that's not as important as a lot of other things are. So even though I ended the game with no cities, which is great, it ultimately did not matter. then I was very close to winning in Terror Level 2 by destroying the last towns. At one point there was only one town on the board, but unfortunately it didn't quite get there. So that's how it is. That's Spirit Island. If you like this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I think that's what I'm supposed to say. Yeah, I'll be back with more games. Probably more two-handed games as well. Occasionally I choose solo, just because it's quick. And I'm going to try to make this more regular.